Well, what's the crack? You're all very welcome to episode 96 of Buckshot for Friday the 1st of February. We got through there, lads. 1st of February 2019. By Jesus Christ. And the weather outside is pure shite. Snow flogging, fucking rotten. I'm just in the door from recording today's guest. Quite literally just in the door. Jacket still on, cup of tea in hand. But I'm going to keep it short and sweet because we are heading straight to Belfast tonight to do Pug Uglies. So, this is recorded, I will have done it last night, as per you'll be hearing this. Gigs next week are, I'll be in the Roisin Dove. A couple of people, listeners have hit me up. They're coming to that one on the 5th, Tuesday the 5th. And then I will be in the Laughter Lounge on the 7th, Friday and Saturday of that week. So next week, there's more gigs. I'll tell you all about it in the Ramble Pod. Thanks very much to the Patreon people. I drew down a shot of money to actually replace the money that I paid for the microphones. They haven't arrived yet, but they're coming. They'll be here. I chose correctly because I went with just regular Shure ones. You can't go overly wrong with the old Shure. You can't go too far wrong with the fucking thing, so it'll be all right. If you do feel like contributing to the podcast, the link will be in the bottom. If you can't click through, it's Patreon, patreon.com/Tom O'Mahony Buckshot, all one word. And if you want to sling maybe $3 or $4 at it, happy days. You will get the back catalogue of the Tom and Jerry show. Only podcast or Patreon listeners will get through to that one. And also, as soon as they run out, I'm going to start doing podcasts purely for the actual Patreons. There you go. So, and the shit you want to hear about, and we'll have discussions about things, so that'll be purely. Also, there's the Tea Republic shop. Have a gander at that if you want to get some stuff. It all contributes towards the podcast. Had to buy chocolate for Dean today to apologise for the fuck up I made the other time. Oh, Jesus Christ. So those are the gigs, and those are the bits and pieces. Today's guest is an absolute one of the soundest skins you'll ever meet. We did make an attempt. We recorded a great podcast back in November, but I formatted the card by putting it into another recording device by accident and wiped the whole thing. No, couldn't get it back. So Dean was like, yeah, no worries. Look, shit happens. So we managed to meet up today in the Laughter Lounge and we recorded another episode. Dean Rock, one of the coolest people of all time. We just not even based on having a cool name, but just a cool bloke. He has 5 All-Ireland medals, 5 National Football medals, 2 All-Stars, 6 Leinster medals. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's a bit of a sickener at the end of it. Like, but there was a bit of piss taking going on back and forth. Interesting stuff, like, and what will be going through. Like, he's a free taker, like, goal kicker, like. So I mean, the stuff that'll be going through a fella's head, like, at times. We had a bit of crack on that. We talked about being tested for steroids, like, and stuff, and the weirdness that causes, and everything else, along with possibly branding his name correctly, possibly into the food sector. We had a great chat. You're gonna really like this one. So sit back and relax and enjoy the great and powerful Dean Rock. Dean Rock, thanks very much for coming back in again. I'm some bollocks, aren't I?
Again? Oh, you're an awful prick. Yeah, Jesus Christ. 2 months ago we did this, and
yeah.
I let out all the secrets about the success of Dublin and the whole lot in that last one, so it's a pity now.
I've totally forgotten every one of them.
Everything. Yeah.
Jesus Christ. When you just want to, like, we've all done it, and I was just telling you beforehand, like, I formatted that card, and it was in that minute, like, something broke in my brain. So yeah, I'm after doing that.
I know, the minute you text me to say something came up, I knew it was something related to that anyway. So.
And that's why I even I've a second recording device and everything here. Like, just I've somebody taking notes outside just in case this goes completely
and
wrong.
I brought my own people as well, so there we go. So we certainly ain't going to do this again. Jeez.
And I brought you the dark chocolate.
Yes, no, it's good to see each other again, I suppose.
Well, this is it. If not, let's try to turn that on, to be true.
No, exactly. Yeah, no, thanks for the dark chocolate. Yeah, no, new season, so it made a difference from the Mars bars and the Snickers from the last time we did this.
Oh yeah. But it was the morning after, a night before.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
It's one of them.
You have to be on the old choppy then. Like,
exactly. Yeah, big time.
Because Yeah, I suppose. Do you know what? Like how we met first was through Stuart's care, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so it was great. I suppose it was just the Oscars night that we had, and the work that you did with our service using the lads in Stewart's was amazing. And I suppose you're still talking about it now.
Are they?
Yeah, it's Jesus.
I'd say there's another one coming this year because I have a bunch of new movies written
already.
Oh,
they're mad. They're mad to rebrand it now, so it's going to be Stewart's.
Really?
Stewart's Goes to Hollywood or something like that. So, I think you'll be back in the door, Stewart's again. I'm sure.
I just got a phone call this morning going, "Can you? Sorry, there's a company or a crowd down the country want Dirty Dancing written." And I was just as I was driving in, I went, "Dean's crowd would want that for sure. They'll want that."
Oh, there'll be a few groups in there just champing at the bit for that stuff now. Yeah.
And when did you start with Stewart's?
I would have started with Stewart's in 2015.
Right.
I would have worked in the sports centre coaching Special Olympics athletes for about 2 years.
Yeah.
And then the end of last year, then I moved into fundraising. Trying to just do a little bit more for the organisation in terms of raising the awareness and obviously bringing in some funds to benefit the care of the service users. So that's where I am now, and been with the organisation for the guts of 3-4 years now at this stage. But
so you were training the Special Olympics guys before? Yeah,
so all the different athletes, whether it was golf or whether it was athletics or swimming, I was putting gym programs together for all the athletes, and obviously enabling them to be the best that they could be. And, just trying to facilitate their needs and putting a program together to make them a better athlete. Yeah,
that's class. Wait, because stuff like that. Because even I would everything's just a job essentially. But when I showed up there, I swear to God, within 5 minutes, I was going, "I'd be doing this for nothing."
Stop! I mean, they were characters, buzzing. And like we would have spoken about it in the past. Just how honest they are. Like, I mean, they tell you straight out, like if they don't like something in the script, they're going to tell you that they don't like something in the script.
Love that.
So, yeah. There's loads of examples, good examples about it.
So what's his name just told me? Here, I'm not happy with that. Yeah. It was when he pulled me on. Yeah. I still have that in my brain.
He wasn't going back home. We're back to the office to say it to somebody else. It was just
there was no bitching online. Nothing. It was just he was telling me that he wasn't happy with his role.
To the point, and it was getting dealt with then and there.
I love that. Yeah. Just no fluff whatsoever.
Yeah, sure. Just the way it probably should be. Yeah.
Did you? Because I can't remember if I'm sure we probably did touch on it, but in our false interview that we had, I will call it the warm up. Did you study sports science?
I studied sports science in DCU. Yeah, so adapted physical activity (APA) was a module within the sports science program, and that's what kind of brought me to working with people with intellectual disabilities. And Stewart's and DCU have a partnership that the sports science students go out to Stewart's Care to do a 10-week training program. Yeah, and they buddy up with one of the service users and they put together gym programs, and that's kind of how I was introduced to Stewart's. I never would have known anything about it before that, and then obviously later on that year, in my third year, I went and did 6-month interplacement in Stewart's. And that's kind of how I built up relationships with service users and staff, and then went back there once I graduated.
How was it? Was it always going to be sports science? Like, because you're Barney Rock's son. You're playing for Dublin. Like, was there ever a point where you're going, I wouldn't mind doing arts?
There was a point when I was doing European business and German.
Oh, yeah?
I was doing that at the start. I went in. I got a scholarship to DCU through Gaelic football, and obviously delighted. Sure, I didn't care what I was doing as long as I was playing football. But they put me into a class, European business and German. I'd done accountancy in the Leaving Cert, and I'd done.
You're tall, like you
German.
Can as a German.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I have to look.
Jeez, yeah, just don't ask me to speak or read. So I did. I went in and did. I did first year of European business German, but I failed that many exams, and which wasn't for me. But I went in and I did the course with fluent German speakers, and then German students had come over to learn English, and their English was better than my English. So never mind the German. So I was in a room full of fluent German speakers.
What is wrong with this Mr. Rowe?
And the amount of projects I did through Google Translate was unbelievable. And the lecturers just, what is this fella doing? Totally.
It's a good thing he's good at football.
So, and I mean, there was one night out, and with the group, and like the whole night they spoke German. I hadn't a notion what was going on. My best friend that day was a few bottles of beer and a few shorts, and that was it. But just mad experience. But no, so it was certainly not all sports science. It was an up and down road to eventually get there.
It's funny because last week's guest was Bernard Jackman, and he did Japanese in business. I think he said he did, and I was like, "How's the fella from Carlo?" But I suppose like that, you didn't care once you were playing, and he was the same way. He didn't care once you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like Paul Mannion, beyond our obviously the Dublin senior football team, and he does Chinese and German international studies or whatever it is, and he speaks Chinese, and that's kind of the approach he's gone with. Yeah, but he's obviously continued on it with it, and he's been to China and stuff like that. But it's just fair play to him. It's just obviously.
Is there a strong Gaelic football, association in China? There probably is a couple of teams.
Oh, there is, of course there is. Yeah, there's GAA everywhere.
Have you gone to visit any of these, or do you would you? That'd be do you know what? That'd be a great TV show. Dean Rock visits all the mad places. Like, do you know what I mean?
Like Hector.
Yeah.
With the GAA side of things,
just going around. Like, can you speak any Irish at all? We could get you on TV3, or TG
Car. Yeah, Jesus, no, a little bit. Yeah, Jesus.
But you send you like Dean goes to Saudi Arabia.
I could just work on me German again, dude. German TV. But there's GA everywhere around the world, obviously, which is kind of earmarks. It represents Ireland, represents
lads were getting when I did the J1 years ago. Lads that were playing county hurling, two Tipperary lads I knew that were playing minor, they had played minor, and they were probably both of them were in around the 18 mark. They both got a few quid to play hurling out in Boston.
Yeah.
And now they got jobs in inverted commas, but they were, whatever, but they were actually, the lads were tipping away with a few bob.
It's very, obviously, it's very serious over, and they take it very seriously over in America, in Boston, and New York championships and stuff like that. And a lot of the Irish over there are involved in construction, and they attract players over with jobs, and, they say, look, there's good money there to be made, and the weather is probably a lot better in Boston. Summer, I was over there in 2010, but I wasn't playing football. I couldn't play football because I didn't qualify for a J1 visa at the time because I wasn't in full-time education up until later. Right, so that's what kind of ruled me out. So I just ended up just traveling the whole of America instead. So it was probably better.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it's been pinned down.
Exactly.
Busman's holiday, having to go over there and train.
So it worked out in the end. But yeah, no, I don't. At this stage of my career, certainly not. I'm happy with what I'm doing. And
the old.
The attractiveness. Of course, yeah. Well, just that's the dream. That's what you always wanted to do, is play in Croke Park and those big days. So, I think Boston will have to wait for another lifetime. I think.
Did you ever get tapped up by any of the Australian crowds?
I would have went on trials just in Ireland itself. I would have been on a trial with a couple of guys who actually went on and got selected and got to go over to Australia. Yeah. So Zach Toohey was on it from Laois, Michael Quinn from Longford. Kieran Sheehan from Cork. So three of those guys actually went off and had relatively good careers.
Yeah.
And Zach Toohey in particular is having a great career over there. So look, I think it was, if I could rewind 10 years ago now and do it again, you'd know an awful lot more about it. But it wasn't probably something that I was madly attracted to.
So was it just a case, I just want to see if I've got
it. Just go and see where you stand. And, obviously those guys were just maybe a year or two older than me and just probably physically a lot more developed and better than I was at that stage. So, but it was nice to go down and do it and just have that experience and to see where you stood among your peers, really.
And the big days out in 80,000 people, the first, can you remember your first match where it was full house, in Croke Park? Where you're breaking it,
Yeah, I think people would ask you, what's your most memorable game or your favourite game? And my first year I was on the panel in 2009.
Right.
And Kerry beat us by 17 points in an All-Ireland quarter final, which wasn't good. And then through injuries and different things, I actually didn't play a championship match, or I wasn't involved in a championship match until 2013.
Jesus.
So,
right.
I was there with a long time with knee injury, and then tore my hamstring off the bone. So it was quite a So it was 3 or 4 years there of going through injury and going to classes, not being able to speak German. So there's a lot. I was in the depths of despair for a long while. But I came through it. And but 2013 we played Kerry in All Ireland semi-final, and we were 5 points down at half time.
Yeah.
I remember coming onto the game. We came on 5 minutes in the second half, and just when we got closer and closer to Kerry, and eventually got in front, and the noise around the stadium was just unbelievable. That was the first real experience of 82,000 people. Just
like, can you hear?
Roaring. You can feel the place shaking. It was unbelievable. It was incredible.
Can you hear somebody roaring, like, calling for the ball and stuff, or is it that?
You can on the pitch when you're. But that day, you couldn't.
Really?
Do you know, that day was just phenomenal. It was just an unbelievable game of football, and I think we ended up winning by, I think it was 7 points in the end. But we were 5 down, but then
12-point turnaround. Oh my God.
It was crazy towards the finish. It was just one of them incredible games of football. And probably go down in history as one of the greatest of this sort of decade or this generation. But that was. But you do obviously playing in front of so many people, but you just get used to it and you don't notice it as much anymore. I'm sure if new guys coming on the panel, they might get the same shock for a similar game maybe 2 years ago or something. But for me now, it's just pretty much the norm, and you just come to expect it, really.
You're asking for numbers before. 74th, how? What are you talking? I'm not even going playing today until I see over to 80 leads in here.
Exactly, it's incredible when you think about it for an organisation that
phenomenal, isn't it?
Yeah, 82,000. Obviously, look. The Aviva's, I don't know what the Aviva holds, maybe only 50,000. So you're talking an extra 30.
That's phenomenal when you think about it.
It's amazing. It's nearly double it. Yeah, so it's brilliant. It's great to be a part of it. It's great to be part of such, I suppose, great history at the moment of Dublin GAA, and being a part of that is incredible. Yeah.
And for any of our foreign listeners, because we quite a bit in Scandinavia, oddly enough. I don't know, is it a stronghold of Gaelic games
I'm big in Sweden.
Big in Sweden. Like I said, you have the look too. You're tall, stylish eyewear.
The Germans don't like me, but everywhere else I'm alright.
Big in Sweden.
Big in Sweden, yeah.
It's the Gaelic Football Association. I think probably a lot of people, but it's unpaid.
Yeah,
is the big thing. I think people get shocked by. I mean, to us, like, it's like, it is unpaid, and it keeps the sport clean. I think there's a cleanliness to it as a result.
Without a doubt. I mean, if you started like transfer markets and stuff like that, like counties wouldn't have the backers, wouldn't have the financial power to keep it going. You'd lose the whole community ethos of the GAA, and there'd be a lot kind of drained out of the association if it did go that way, and the club scene and everything. So. I think it's just leave it as it is. I think it's perfect the way it is, and the hurling, obviously brilliant year last year, incredible year to watch, and hopefully the football can produce that sort of level of spectacle again this year.
Do you see any counties that any bolters like Limerick were last year? Like, is there any football?
It's hard to know. Like every year it throws up something differently. Like Mayo, unfortunately, they dropped out of the championship quite early last year, and you'd never expect Mayo to. They'd always expect them to be going to the death. So, look, there's always surprise packages every year. So it's just teams get momentum and have good league runs, and you certainly learn an awful lot more once the league is over. You know where teams are at. Yeah.
Well, do you know what I was trying to think as I was walking across the floor there of we're here in the Laughter Lounge in Dublin, and I was going, when was it that we actually did the warm-up interview, we'll call it, and it was just before the Ireland All Blacks match.
Yes, that's right. I was gone. Yeah, I was there. Yeah, it was amazing. Yeah, Jesus, so I remember being there, and I remember just thinking, like, Jesus. I went with Brian Fenton, and the two of us were just thinking, like, Jesus, imagine like we would play in front of 30,000 more. But yet the noise was obviously incredible in the Aviva, that game and stuff. But if you put an extra 30,000 on top of it, what it could be, But that was just, it was our kind of way of kind of realizing, geez, you obviously play in front of a huge amount of people. But it was nice to be in a situation where you're actually just a spectator and you weren't, actively taking part in the event.
Being able to put it in context, I suppose, too. Jesus Christ, like. But again, obviously Ireland playing England this weekend. But you played a fair bit of rugby. That was when we were filming one of the days. You were actually, that's what are you doing with a rugby ball? I said, man, I played rugby all through my school days.
Yeah. No, I played a lot of rugby and went to CUS on Leeson Street for 6 years. My sisters went to Loretto and Stevens Green, so I just went around the corner. But yeah, I played schools rugby for 6 years. Loved it, enjoyed it, and probably played a lot more rugby growing up than I did.
That's gas.
Gaelic football,
because you're so associated with football. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And look, I still obviously love the game of rugby, and obviously I haven't played since school days, but certainly watch a huge amount of it, and watch probably more rugby than I do. Gaelic football or Gaelic games. Yeah,
it's just more accessible too.
It is. There's far more of it on the TV, obviously, but it's just you kind of switch off from the Gaelic football and kind of put yourself into watching different sports, and just rugby is something that I follow usually.
Where did you play?
Full back or wing.
Makes sense.
Yeah, catch or kick, and
stay
out of dodge, stay out of trouble. Yeah, so just really enjoyed it, and. It was great, and it certainly helped me obviously with my football, because lots of transferable skills between the rugby.
Look at the likes of Shane Horgan,
transferred
over, Tommy Bowe. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Rob Kearney would have played a huge amount of of Gaelic football in Cooley Kickham's up in Louth. So
was there ever an issue? Was there when you were playing with Ballymun and playing rugby in school? Was there ever had anybody any problem with you playing one or the other? Because there has been there is stories from back in the day.
Well, I was probably the only lad in Ballymun playing rugby at the time. That was the first thing. I was definitely the only fella from Ballymun playing
German
playing rugby, speaking German. Where did you get this fella from, Barney? Like, do you know what I mean? He's not your son.
Your young fella's fierce notions about himself, I'll tell you.
I mean, and that was 10 years ago. It would have been acceptable nowadays. But back then, forget about it. But so it was just it was a bit mad, but no, I never got any sort of trouble from the club team, obviously, because I would have been quite good at Gaelic even then. So the managers weren't going to say anything to try and
dissuade you,
stop you from playing. Exactly. So, but no, look, I probably didn't train as much with the Gaelic football team as the rugby team, but was always around for matches and stuff like that.
Where was their pitch? Your pitch?
In rugby or
in rugby,
Bird Avenue.
Where's that?
Which is near Belfield. And near
I know where it is. Yeah.
Corner. So it's next to a church, and it's kind of an eerie old ground as well. But at the time, it was a bit strange. Yeah, but we used to just get a bus there. On a Saturday, I'd be travelling from Ashburn.
Yeah.
So you'd have to get up at say 7:30, get your bus all the way into town, then there to Bird Avenue, be there for about 9 or 9:15. So it was nearly a 6-day school week, because your Saturdays were all rugby as well. So it was quite busy, and it was tough, but it was very enjoyable.
What was it like growing up? Like, do you remember your father playing?
No. Well, I don't remember playing for Dublin, but I remember him playing for different club team, Garrison, from where we grew up. I would have kind of obviously growing up, you would have went everywhere with him. I had 4 sisters, and I'm the only boy in the family, so. I obviously followed Dad everywhere with me. Huge amount of pressure.
If you were mad just to go into busking.
I know. Yeah.
Or if you're really good at the German, you'd be like, jeez.
I was never given a guitar. I was never given
not even an opportunity to step outside.
Gaelic ball or whatever it was. Even when I started rugby, it was a bit. Yeah.
How did he feel?
It was tough. I know. Yeah. He was. Once I was doing something to be active, he was happy enough. He always knew I was. Probably going to end up playing the Gaelic football anyway, but I'm sure he didn't know at the time that he'd go on and kind of have a career.
How did you end up in Ballymun Kickham's then when you grew up in Garristown?
Because basically that was Dad's club, so...
right.
Yeah, Dad would have grew up around Ballygall and Finglas.
Yes, right.
The feeder school to that would be St. Kevin's, and St. Kevin's with Ballymun, obviously, so... Dad played at Ballymun throughout his whole career until he moved to Garrison, and then played with them just to finish out his career. But that's pretty much the link for the Ballymun thing. So I played with Ballymun since I was about 6,
right,
all the way up till now. So it was just obviously he was never going to let me go play with any other.
Yeah, of course.
That was it. It was, so
imagine if you moved county even and started playing with someone. Jesus.
Yeah, well, Garrison's quite close to Meath, so
can you imagine it?
Could have ended up down playing with
Barney Rock's young fella playing with.
playing with Mead.
There would have been some furniture moved in the house, I'd say, then if there was a chat over that. Like.
Although my summers would be a lot shorter. Like,
Yeah. Oh, that's some dirty thing. I know. I wasn't going to say it. Yeah, you wouldn't have 5 All-Irelands and all that. Well, you'd never know. You could have been the inspirational character to bring him on.
That's true, yeah. You never know.
How was the cruise? What has been the celebration after it was your 5th All-Ireland? Your 5th All-Ireland. Is it typically a holiday or?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Obviously, we've been very fortunate and lucky to win, a couple of All-Irelands.
5 free holidays.
Which is,
All-Irelands,
which is amazing. And, once the game is over, obviously there's a couple of weeks of hard celebrations, and then you're back to the club, and then you kind of roll into kind of Christmas time where again it's a time of celebration and going out and having your pints. And then just at the end of the year we went on a cruise this year, which was nice, and it was just nice for all the families and for partners and stuff to kind of ring off the year together and kind of get going then for the new year. But yeah, the cruise was it was interesting. It was different now. I don't
yeah.
There was a comedy club.
Was there?
It was a comedy club.
Was there a comedy club?
Look into it.
You
should go cruising.
A year or two back, it was put to me kind of, would you be? And I went, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I've never even been on a cruise, so I don't really know what I'm talking about in relation to it. But I can imagine my soul. I'd have to leave my soul on deck or out on
totally.
deck.
Totally. It's totally different experience. And some people enjoyed it, some people didn't. It was actually great for families. I would have thought, and we talked about this, you kind of think that it'd be more for older people, but
yeah, like my parents love it.
It's actually, it wasn't at all. It was a really young cruise and
right.
Lots of young families on it, which, great entertainment on it for everyone, but unless you're drinking or going mad at it wouldn't be.
Because you're not just club players; you're inter-county players, so you really have to keep yourself together. Like.
Yeah, well, I suppose it's that time of year where once you're home, you're coming back to do an awful lot of pre-season stuff, so you don't want to be coming back in too bad a shape, and that's the thing. So you're going around where it's free drink and free food in the cruise, and you're like, jeez.
Oh no!
If it was 2 months earlier, you'd be
grand job,
brilliant.
Lads.
But look, it was just one of them trips, and it was obviously great to do and nice to see them, Bahamas and different places like that. So it was cool.
When did you start straight after Christmas, or when are you allowed to start training?
Yeah, no, we started back in January, so. We started back. We were home from the cruise maybe the 7th or 8th of January, and then we started back then just maybe the 10th or 11th of January.
Right.
So,
and how was pre-season?
Just straight back into it. Yeah, it's been good. Look, we know exactly where we're at. We're probably a good bit behind other teams, but hopefully it won't.
Yeah, they weren't off on cruises. Like.
Hopefully it won't take us too long to kind of catch up and get our fitness levels back, because there's a huge base there, I suppose, over the last number of years that's been built up. So it won't take too long to hopefully get it back. And we didn't start too well with a loss last weekend, but
I wasn't going to say a thing. You brought it up now.
It's going to.
So
it's understandable considering the
cruise.
Considering the cruise, considering the time off from football. But look, it's obviously you don't like losing, and we certainly have to take a lot of bit of learning from it. But hopefully we play Galway this Saturday, so hopefully we can get back on track there with a good performance.
Tell me this, because obviously the likes of rugby, because these days it's you know what I mean, you're watching video analysis. Is there much in the way of video analysis you can do for football? Like,
yeah, it takes up a lot of time for most teams now. Yeah, I think even CS through. Whether it's the analysis at half time of a game or after a game, the guys in the studios, or whether it's Sky or your RT, everyone is doing it. So, look, there's a huge emphasis placed on the analysis side of things now, and in Gaelic football and hurling, and that's just kind of how the game has evolved or grown since, say, my dad was playing with Dublin. It wouldn't have been all the emphasis would have been on yourself or the team, and very little emphasis would have been on the opposition. So nowadays there's a huge amount of work done on opposition analysis, and that's just how it's gone. That's how teams prepare for games, and they learn from whether it's your American football teams or your rugby, and it's very tactical and very professional now, and that goes all the way down to Dublin Ladies. My girlfriend plays Dublin Ladies, and they do the exact same things any man's team would do, hurling or football. So it just goes to show the level it's at now for an amateur organisation, amateur sport, that you're putting in a huge amount of hours in the background, whether it's working on yourself physically or mentally or tactically.
Are you wearing GPS units as well then?
Yeah, every team now pretty much wears the GPS to have that data.
So there's no hiding really.
There's no hiding. No, you fucking running from one corner to the other just to
rack up your
rack up the Ks. So if you ever see me just going on a random
looking
run,
down at the Fitbit going,
you'll know.
No.
Exactly. You have not run in 3 minutes.
That rock lad, all right.
He's touching the corner flags all the time. So that's it. That's everyone kind of using that data now, or using the GPSs to to get the most out of the team, or to just kind of show how positively it can impact on the performance or negatively. So
it must be handy having the missus as a footballer as well. You know what I mean? And the fact that you're like, there's heading to training again.
Oh yes, like it's. Sometimes you're like ships in the night. I mean, it's one night I'd be training, she could be training the other night. So you could literally go 4 or 5 nights without seeing each other. You know, that kind of way. It's just, even though you're living in the same house, it's just you obviously see each other. But it's just like, you look at the diary and you're like, oh, sick, we're training the same nights. You want to have that night by yourself, but it does. It certainly does help, because obviously she understands what's required, and when you're cranky, she understands why, or vice versa, and that's just kind of it certainly helps. Yeah.
You never brought her dogs to training by accident, did you, or anything like that?
No, never. No.
If I was her, I'd totally be I would totally be swapping out her gear.
Yeah, it'd be all right if she's wearing my, so it wouldn't be too bad. But I couldn't be wearing the short stuff now.
You're just rocking up in your short shorts.
You'd never hear the end of that.
Quite
stuff
literally
now,
rocking up.
Lads. Yeah, there you go. That's another. Yeah.
Because I suppose you grew up as Barney Rock's young fella. He kind of broke the mold with a great surname, like, you know what I mean? Because it was just you're Dean Rock, Barney Rock's young fella.
Yeah.
I mean, and you shaking that off because you've more All Irelands than him now, clearly. Like, and I mean, that must be a bit of that arm wrestle is long done and dusted, isn't it?
Wait, done 4 more of them, Jesus. Yeah. He won 1.
1. You've got 5.
Back in '83, yeah, he won 1.
So has Barney Rock become just Dean Rock's outfit? Is that the way it is now?
Dean Rock's shadow or whatever.
Who's Barney Rock again? Oh, Dean Rock.
Who's your man with? Oh, right. Yeah. That's pretty much how it works now. Yeah.
Just you've alpha male situation. You sit at the top of the table.
It's funny though, because you always, I suppose, people older than my dad or people of dad's generation would be like, no, they'd be the opposite to what all
Barney's lad.
All the younger kids now are just like, who's your man, or that's Dean Rock's dad. That's just how the whole thing works,
of course.
You know what I mean? And it's funny, because for years obviously you would have been Barney's son or whatever, but then you kind of shake that tag off, and look, it's to say that didn't annoy me, I'd be lying to you.
Yeah, of course. Is that what drove you to win 5?
It annoyed me. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
you could have done it with 2, man. Sick. You know what I mean? You didn't have to go and win 5. Like.
Yeah, there should have been enough. Should transfer to Mead after 2. That would have been it.
Switch over to hurling or something. Yeah,
exactly.
Did you ever give hurling a go?
Try something. Never played hurling in my life. Never. Didn't have it in Ballymun, GA club, understandably so, and we didn't have it in my school in Garrison either. So it was just
because it seems like I'm making the Venn diagram here in my head. So football, rugby, and a lot of good hurlers have made good rugby players as well. The likes of Simon Zebo was minor.
Yeah,
Darren Sweetenham. There's a lad now on the 20s, the Ireland 20s team, who's had to give up hurling for Dublin. He was on the minor hurlers. He's a great surname, Hawkshaw. He's on the 20s at the minute, and he's just had to give it up because he's like, well, it was one or the other, and it was touch and go, like, wasn't a case of money or anything like that, but it was just, you get to play for the national side, like.
Yeah, of course.
So you could have made, we could have had do you know what? Just jack into football altogether. Let's put you on the hurling team. I can see what happens.
Jeez, hurling, I don't think I'm decent at golf now, but I don't think hurling.
Look, all the signs are there.
Just go, should we? Yeah?
Let's just get you on. I'll be your agent. We'll get you on.
God, the tip lads now, they'll be.
But sure, I mean, you
Back
brought
to
in
win the
wingers
All-Ireland next year.
into Dublin already with the likes of Ryan Dwyer.
Ryan Dwyer, yeah.
Who
Good skin, yeah.
who got turfed out of Tipperary because he fell out with the coach at the time. He showed him, didn't he?
He did, yeah. Jesus Christ.
I moved to Dublin and I'd be a star.
Yeah, he had a good old career now all the same. He did, in fairness to him. But yeah, no, hurling for me now is not going to be... I'm not going to be taken up now at this stage.
Yeah, not at this stage, yeah. Because there was something... Like, obviously, football at the higher levels is unbelievably fast and unbelievably athletic. But I found at the low levels then of football where I would fit in, I was able to tag along with the team, essentially. I was able to hold my post in the corner back. Yeah. But in hurling, not a hope.
Yeah.
Even at the bad levels of hurling, they were just so quick.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? They were just so light on their feet. Like,
yeah, it's amazing, yeah. It's such a quick game. Like, you'd be fucking...
like I was just swinging out of lads and mulligan and just pulling and dragging. Just like Northern football was back in the 90s. Remember that?
Just being a nuisance around
just
the
being
place.
a nuisance.
That's
like
all
just,
you were, yeah.
And I was antagonising people enough that they would go, do you know what? He's worth annoying somebody at the very least. Put him on there. So
any verbals? No,
I was foul. Like that was my number one thing. Like that was if anything, I just trained at being filthy. At just the grief I give lads. Like, was there like is that at intercounty level? Is that still going on? Like, does it go on at that level?
Of course it does. Yeah.
Does it?
It's all tongue in cheek stuff now.
Yeah, of course.
Like you get to a stage where none of that stuff really affects kind of older or experienced lads. It'd be more just they might target a young guy who just isn't used to that sort of thing. And
like, did you ever get a cut off of the likes of Paul Galvin? Like, you know what I mean? Hey, Paul, how's the fashion business going? Gorgeous, yeah. You're gorgeous.
Some of the stuff you'd hear on the pitch would be funny now, but for me, like, I'd be very kind of calm and stuff. I'd just laugh it off, really. I wouldn't.
So you haven't been good for I would have imagined you'd be sharp-tongued enough now if you were giving somebody.
I would if I had to, but I don't think I never have to really dig that deep or go down into my bag of tricks.
Oh, you're showing off there now.
Like
I'm Tom. I'm that good at football.
No, I don't mean it like that.
I don't.
Someone doesn't annoy me enough to have to go to that.
Oh,
okay,
to that fair enough.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not that I'm good at football. I meant the opposite. You know.
You won 5 All-Irelands. It's fine. And it was. You know what I mean? Are you like? Do you keep an eye on who's? Because obviously you knock somebody off their perch to make your starting place on the team. Like,
yeah.
Do you eyeball of that and go, all right, I need to take this up 5% from last year or either that or I need to absolutely bury him at training.
Look, you're obviously aware of the talent within the squad and stuff. So you're always looking at the next person who might potentially step into your shoes or somebody who might take your place. And I suppose that's the great thing about our team at the moment is that there's so much of that going on the whole way around the pitch.
Yeah.
So everyone is, as you say, trying to get that 5% better than they were last year or just add different layers to their game. So it's probably one of the reasons why we've been successful is the fact that level of competition is massive and it's huge. And I think that's when some teams kind of drift away or can kind of fade away when the level of competition isn't as good as it once was. And we're very lucky that we've got probably 40 or 50 players in Dublin at the moment who would be able to play senior county football, and that's a great position to be in. So it's just trying to use that as best to your advantage by seeing it as a positive and then trying to improve as a player so that you get one of the jerseys from 1 to 15.
And I just remember weren't you out with the All Blacks?
Yeah,
before the actual match because you were both AIG.
That's right. Yeah, the
representatives.
Yeah.
What had you mentioned anything about playing rugby? Because you were obviously trying them out at hurling and football, like.
Not really. It never really came up in conversation, but it was actually nice to meet them guys.
Was there a ball put in your hand? Because all of a sudden you can magically put a spin on it. Oh, I don't know where that came from, lads. It's just nothing about
it's
6
years
natural. In school.
It's a natural, really. I just played Gaelic football on my life. Yeah, no, it was that was actually a cool event. Yeah, it was nice to meet some of them guys because obviously they're the number one team and were really they're phenomenal and just produced level of consistency over the years. So it was nice to kind of have a conversation with them and to meet a couple of them. And Kieran Reid was there. He's obviously the captain in New Zealand and just real down to earth and just nice guys all around. And it was nice.
Tell
to
the
see.
Truth, you were absolutely bigging yourselves up. He's going, no big deal. But we're actually considered we call ourselves the All Blues. No big deal, but we're fairly class.
And everyone else hates us like they hate you. You know what I mean? So yeah, but the thing is with New Zealand, though, I think most people like New Zealand. Though.
I don't think people hate Dublin. Not anymore. Like once upon a time, and I think if anything, it's got to be. It's just like the Kilkenny effect, you know, back in the mid to late 2000s. Like as a Tipperary person living alongside those motherfuckers, winning 4 and 5. Like, are you joking me? Like, are you actually joking me? Yeah. But it was.
You stopped them doing the 5.
We did. We stopped them doing 5. Like, but yeah, I mean, they just swung around and won another one again. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Like, sorry, we'll just. That was a blip there.
Sorry, lads.
You know, but. Because there's a likability. I think there's a likability. I think it's sometimes the mad fans are, and there's just so many of them.
Yeah, no.
And it's the same with any capital city. There's just going to be gazillions of fans.
Yeah.
Do you know where like the fans are so like some of the fans? Like there's a lad I know. He used to do comedy, and his old man. He's a nice chap. I met him, and they do a charity thing over. He's in Drimna, and they do a charity every year where they raise money for this ridiculous amount of lights they put all over their house. It makes the newspaper every year. But he showed me a picture of his own man in the mirror, and it would have been a game you were playing in like a year or two back. He's got like he looks like an English Millwall fan, you know, big fat lad, shaved head, giant Dublin crest tattooed on his whole front of his body, like
McGregor is little.
You know, like exactly way before. Like he probably had it way before McGregor, but it's just, and he's just screaming, and in that moment you're kind of going. Yeah, I can see how that wouldn't be not the most pleasant person to have to sit beside in a match. Like, you know,
very loyal man. Yeah. But it's like everything in sport. I think if someone's successful, I think people generally want the other person to lose, or you want the other team to win. Like it's like Tiger Woods at golf. It's just people want to see somebody else come along and win, and that's like absolutely that's fair.
You have to take a bit of pride in that and go, sure, if that's what you're angry about, sorry.
It's great to be in that position, obviously, you know. So that's brilliant for us. But obviously, look, I think that's just human nature, and that's sport. That's just people like to see the underdog win.
That's it, and that was a big thing with Limerick last year.
Yeah,
I mean, I openly admitted on Limerick radio that I was absolutely disgusted by it, and your man was like, "What?" I said, "To be fair, I don't." He goes, "Do you know what? I applaud your honesty because everybody else from other counties is great for the sport."
That's Stuart's rubbing off, and you're there now.
It was just it's exactly it. I just went straight to the point. I went, "No," and that's just not that I dislike Limerick. We just didn't win. That's all I got. Honesty. That's all I got. These days, we just didn't win.
Jesus, right?
But it was like obviously you're with the dark chocolate and stuff like that.
I have to take that with me, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I brought one with chili as well in it, just to
lovely.
Yeah. Just I have no idea what they're doing putting vegetables inside the chocolate. And I put it.
It sells.
Of course it does. It makes us all feel fancy all of a sudden. That's how you know the boom is back, Dean.
That's
chili chocolate.
Dark chocolate chili, yeah.
But I mean, you need only see this place on the weekends. Like it is rammed. All the comedy clubs now are rammed. So the boom is definitely back.
It's back. Of course it is. They're coming to see you.
Yeah, exactly. They're coming to see me.
You know the boom is
back.
The
boom is back. But nutrition-wise, then, like, I mean, are you kind of left to your own devices, or is it very strict? Like, I suppose the reality is, I suppose you're considered probably a senior player at this stage, really.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
But you can be kind of trusted, I suppose. Yeah, and it'll be spotted fairly quickly, I'd imagine.
Of course, yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, no, look, that's part of the evolution of the sport and the game. Again, is the levels of strength and conditioning and nutrition and looking after your body. Yeah. So, look, we would have a nutritionist like. Every team, intercounty team now would have nutritionist support there. So our nutritionist would be the Leinster Rugby nutritionist as well, Daniel Davey. And he just gives us the guidelines and has us eating the right things around game time when you're not training and just doing all the right things. And they're, I suppose, the small percentages that obviously add up to a lot throughout the year. And you try and just take as much information on board as you can and try and do as much as the cooking and stuff like that at home as opposed to eating out. And it's just you're just making all the right choices, you know.
But I think it's a thing all the way down now to the smallish parish teams, like at this stage. Because I had a lad on the podcast, he has a company, to give him a shout out, Jim Trishan. Charlie Dunn is the guy's name. He has a shop now in a cafe in town near Dublin 8, I think. Yeah. And essentially he does meal prep for a lot of fighters, but now he says more and more GA players who just don't have the time, and he will set you out and it's 100% clean, you know.
Yeah.
But he's flying it now,
Yeah.
and not with all high end people, but
Yeah.
he's basically Deliverooing just to lads' houses, just to grub for the week, like, and all. I suppose it does make sense.
Of course it does.
But is that filtering down from the county team in the same way we say Joe Schmidt's kind of vibe is filtering down to even the AIL now? Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Where lads like is there county like coaches coming in to see how it's done in Dublin? You know what I mean? Sorry, I'm not county coaches, but I mean club coaches.
Yeah, look, I think it's just guys who are obviously, we've got 6 guys with Ballymun.
Yeah.
From Ballymun on the Dublin panel. So obviously,
okay.
when we go back down to training with our guys, naturally your behaviours and how you carry yourself is kind of being reflected on the other club guys, and then they obviously see that and they can learn from that. And obviously there's certain things that guys go back and share with their club team.
Like you tell them, I'll show them all your photographs from your free holidays.
It's like
this is where you get, lads.
And there's no like, obviously you're not sharing tactical stuff, but like just around just the different things, even if it's just nutrition, whatever it is, you're sharing different clues. But certainly the level of information is out there now, and there's so many people who are driven to be successful and want to make the step from club to county, and nutrition is one of the roads to get there, I suppose, and that's why you see, you know, companies like your friends there who you know, they're being availed of because guys want to be better and, you know, get that extra inch or two, and you know, it's good to see. I was watching you speak there, going, yeah, definitely there's something related to that. Oh yeah, the ethos, because this is the thing. I was listening to an interview. Well, it was ethos and culture, I suppose, around the club. Was that something that was involved? Because it was Stuart Lancaster was talking, and he was talking about it with this chap that was he'd worked with the All Blacks and he'd worked with like NATO and stuff like that. And it was just I think the idea was creating a sound kind of culture. And I think this kind of goes back to what I was saying, is that I don't think the Dublin footballers are actually disliked as much as you think they are, because there's a kind of a, what would you call it? I suppose there's a normal humbleness too. Yeah. Oh, we're just, listen, new year every year, and we're just trying to play football. That's all. Was that a thing that was brought in? Because you're such, you know, you're at professional level. Like, was there a culture spoken about, or how did did you bring somebody in? Absolutely, I suppose it would have been a huge shift in culture from the early 2000 teams of Dublin teams to when Pat Gilroy came in. He probably would have started the whole change of shift of culture, and then obviously Jim would have come in and put his stamp on things and changed it up as well. But I suppose now, like, Jim would have put a lot of stuff in place and structures and frameworks around culture and values and stuff, but now it's really player led, and players carry out that. And there's lots of guys who give up their time to do lots of charity work, and, you know, just little things like after training, whether you're cleaning up after yourself and you're not leaving it for somebody else to do. It's little things like that kind of develop trust within the group, and you know, kind of it brings the group kind of closer together as well. So there is a huge amount of work that goes on around culture and values and stuff like that, and like every, you know, sports team nowadays, you see that goes on. You see it goes on in businesses and stuff like that. So like, everyone goes after culture, everyone goes after values, but it's what you do with that.
I'm with you,
You put your own twist on humility, or you put your own twist on whatever it is, hard work, and that's pretty much what everyone does nowadays.
That's why you demanded like dark chocolate off me, like exactly, and green tea, like
exactly.
But look, you know, 5 All-Irelands.
Can be a prima donna sometimes. That's how it is. Yeah, so it's just it's amazing, just the whole world of leadership and that culture word, it seems to be the real buzzword at the moment around sport and organisations.
Sports fellas tend to kind of give talks and things like that, because you've been there at the coalface of, like, the thing is, like, during a game of football, I often wonder, you know, because it's obviously played, or any high end sport, like, there must be no period during, or I could be totally wrong, during, say, a high tension match, 80,000 people watch it, where you're going, just, I'd love an old pizza for dinner. Do you know? You know what I mean? Like, that sort of, does a notion ever pop?
You'd
like
be
that?
surprised.
Does it?
You'd be surprised.
The ball is coming your way for a good 2 minutes. Like,
you'd be surprised sometimes what comes into your head when you're going to hit a free kick or something. It's funny.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I thought, because you look so zoned in.
Like, but you completely reframe then. But there could be a stage where, you know, and then you just take another breath, like to get rid of that thought of pizza out of your head. Like, but no, it's funny. It's some of the stuff that goes on in your head. Obviously, you're 90% of the time you're just so conscious, but you can drift.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I believe you.
And some people just drift further and longer or easier than people, and then you have to have a trigger or a cue that brings you back to the present.
How do you develop
that?
For
me, mine is just my breathing and just going through my routine, whether it's free kicks. Other people might have a cue of a word that when you say the word to yourself, you just click into gear. Okay, right. I'm back on. So you use triggers, you use cues just to reframe and get yourself back. You get your head back on the job, because it does happen. Yeah,
I could just. I'm going to be watching you from now on. I'm going to smile. It'll just come across your face and go, Domino's a 4-star. Domino's a 4-star. Maybe I'll go to base. Who knows?
All right,
breathe, Gene, breathe.
And then I'm back in the zone. Yeah. That's it.
Is it really?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's funny. Yeah. So you have seen it before. You just never realised what was going on.
That is.
So the triggers.
Win calculations. The whole rod's thrown up a bit of grass and then.
What is he thinking of?
Yeah. Jeez, I can nearly pop into Super Valley on the way home. I'm making myself.
Right, but I kick this free for the referee blows me up for taking too long. That's what it is, stuff.
Because you try to put yourself. That's the attraction of sport. Is that it's like watching a better version of yourself. Yes, they're playing for county pride and parish pride and all the rest. But when you zone in on a player like that kid I sent you the video of, like he's not even from Dublin, but he's fascinated by you and your methods. Do you know what I mean? And your breathing. I mean, I can't wait for him to hear that. Sometimes you think about pizza. In that,
it's okay, kids.
It's okay to sometimes think about stuff. Yeah. But and that's I suppose to make you more human. Then in the real world, it's good for people to hear that. It's like, all right. So there is normal moments for people, and they are normal blokes.
So it's for years I would have thought I was just weird,
right?
That I would think like that, but everybody has. A different thought comes into their head, whether it's something, even if it's something like, geez, I'm going to miss this. Do you know what I mean? It's different things. Obviously, it's not pizza all the time.
All the time.
I don't think I've ever really thought of pizza, but you know what I mean? You think of other things, Jesus, what'll I do tomorrow? It could be just anything. I don't know what it is, but you're not thinking at the time. But
must tax the car.
But you might say to yourself, oh, Jesus, I'm going to miss this free, or could think of that. Obviously, you don't want to think like that, but human nature sometimes... something happens like that, but then you breathe and you use a trigger to bring you back to present and just say, right, well, I'm going to kick it. You just go through your routine and trust your routine that'll work for you and go over the bar, because if you're thinking negatively as you strike the ball, you're probably going to miss, so that's pretty much.
Do you have any superstitions and stuff like that? Or does anybody on the team have any kind of superstition? Because you don't strike me as sort of a fellow who
I don't really
have to wear me lucky, whatever.
No, I get off the bus last all the time. That's it.
Is that it?
Just
why last?
I don't know.
But you're sticking with that?
It was just last, that's it.
All right.
So I always get off the bus last.
Right. And is it superstitious, or is it just...
I just like everyone to go before me, and then I just get off the bus
So
last.
you like that, you're like me on the plane. You don't stand up and stand there with your head crouched underneath the
waiting for
you can't get off any faster than anybody else.
Exactly.
So
your bags are still going to arrive at the same time.
Relax with you. Yeah.
So I'm just I'll be very calm and stuff. But I don't know. I've always just kind of got off the bus last, and somebody said it to me once. Just, geez, you always get off the bus last, any reason, and then the guy just
you pinned him to the wall and said, "How dare you?"
How do you know? So that's that's my only superstition and such. There's no.
Does any lads
no one else
played
has
with?
any crazy ones though. You always hear of different sports teams of mad stuff that goes on, but I'm sure lads have their own little individual ones. But I haven't really copped them. I suppose when you come into a dressing room and get off the bus, you're very focused on yourself.
Yeah.
Getting yourself ready. So I wouldn't really be.
I met a fellow one day. He was. He's quite a successful businessman. I'm assuming he was. By the chat, it was in a conversation with a couple others, and he was saying, it was pointed out that when Ian Madigan was playing for Leinster, he was a mentor to Ian Madigan, and he'd call into him the morning of a game, and I was like, what do you know about? And he was like, he says it worked for him, and he was business wise anyway. He was going to be a mentor to him anyway, but also just to kind of get his head in the right space. boss that game like you're supposed to. And maybe I suppose that's a different thing for out halves. They do have to be a bossy kind of a, they are nearly the quarterback of the situation. Like, but like I was thinking, that sounds like a lot of fluff in the way of actually going playing the game.
Yeah.
Like that now wouldn't be for me at all.
Yeah,
like.
and that's how it's gone. There's so much in the build up to a game. There's so much more than just arriving on the day and just sticking on the shorts and the socks and the boots and just going out.
Because that's what it is at the end of the day.
That's what it is, and it's trying to get the balance between that and then doing too much or too less of the other stuff, and that's just trying to.
Like, how would you hold down like you stewards are probably quite good to you and stuff, and you can kind of organize your own situation. You're running your own ship essentially there.
Yeah,
stewards,
pretty much.
But how would you hold down a full-time job? Like you have to either be a guard or a teacher outside of it.
It's very difficult, I suppose, in the kind of the white heat of summer.
Yeah.
When the intensity levels go up completely and there's a lot at stake, and if you're in a working environment where you're constantly getting nagged about what's the team going to be, or mentally it can be quite tough, and that's the kind of the amateur side of it that you can't get away from. And look, you probably wouldn't change it, but I suppose a lot of the guys, their employers are very good with time off and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's no mystery who you're hiring.
Around games. Yeah, exactly. I think most staff, your colleagues will be very understandable of the situation you're in.
Sorry,
too.
I'm gonna go win an All Ireland. Is that all right? I've got a free holiday to win here.
But I need you to send this email for me.
So is that what pops into your head before a kick?
Yeah,
God, I never sent that email. Shit, I got to do that podcast again
tomorrow.
with Tom. Is that what I ruined last
Press
week's game?
delete again.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I was thinking about doing this last Sunday.
Do you know what I'm gonna ask for 90% chocolate. That's what I'm gonna ask. Because I was talking with Noelle Healy. We were just chatting because at some stage I'm gonna get her on. And man, like she's doctoring. You know what I mean? Like, going, how are you holding down? Like,
it's incredible. Yeah, like Jack McCaffrey, he's a doctor too. So it's just trying to have good communication with the manager and then obviously your boss and stuff as well. I mean, one thing with Jim is that obviously your work and family come first, and that's number one.
That's a peace of mind too. Like,
and like it's like I suppose if work is not going well or family life's not going well, you're not going to be the best you can be on the pitch.
That's why you went and got yourself a girlfriend who was also playing county football. You're like, I need to find. I'm going to have a partner in life. She needs to be in the same boat.
That was the breeding program that Dublin GA are running out at the moment. Like, that's what's ongoing.
Is that what's going on?
It's happening.
They're just pairing up.
Just pairing us up at the moment. Because we're trying to have long-term success, like to keep it going.
There was a man in history did that kind of thing once upon a time, like, and he was. Do you know what? He wasn't producing 5 All Ireland winning children. So you know what? I like their style.
Well, Neva's 3 All Irelands, so there you
have 8 All Irelands in one. That's just disgusting. There are Mayo people listening to this right now, spitting at their phone as they listen to this, going, "They've 8 All Irelands in one." Apartment, one house. This is it.
Yeah, one apartment. Yeah, Jesus.
That's just hideous.
It's great. It's something.
She must be using them as coasters at this stage. Right? You absolute couple of bastards. There are lads that will never be coming in an ass's roar, and they're up at the gym at 6 o'clock in the morning, and you've got 8 of them in the house. Like, just go here, take one of them there. Why didn't you bring me one? Sure, all together. I would have gotten you another bar of chocolate for one.
Oh, stop! It's just it's as well as when you say it like that, it's a bit. It's pretty cool.
Well, it's a bit lavish, is what it is.
Yeah, it'd be nice now if we both win this year. We can
have more.
Get up to,
That's just
get up to 10.
I just imagine like. Do you get a ring? Do you?
Delete that.
Do you get a ring? Joking. Do you know like the American footballers?
No. Look, you get your all might like the All Ireland medal that I would have would be the exact same as the one my dad has. And the GA, right. I've always done it like that, and it's obviously just it's nice to be able to
have 4 more.
There was we had
that's you brought that in there, so you could just say I have 4 more than that.
I hope your thing is stopped recording now. I think in 2017 or 2016 it was like it was a special year for GA. It might have been 125 years.
Yeah, it was.
The medals that year were slightly different than in previous years. Just to kind of acknowledge that it was the type of year that it was. So, but yeah, no, it's cool, and obviously the ladies are flying now at the moment as well, so hopefully they can.
I just imagine you actually, MTV Cribs come to your house and it's like you have a whole room, like, your own jersey signed on the wall.
But I will never have my All-Ireland medal. My mother has them.
Does she?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I can imagine. I can imagine. If I had won five, I'd be the very same way.
And she'll be keeping them all, like, she just that they're hers.
Yeah,
they're
of course.
hers.
Like,
yeah. I have it on paper, but she actually has
Well, she
them.
fed you for
exactly, yeah.
18
and didn't feed
years.
the girls. Yeah. My four sisters.
Did the girls ever take up
They
football?
did. No, in fairness, yeah, my four sisters, they all played Gaelic football.
Did they?
Yeah, no, they did, and two of them are
D-Netta 1, D-Netta 2.
two of them are still playing now at the moment.
Are they?
Yeah, and then the other two have kids and stuff now at the moment. So their days of playing football are over. Yeah, but Dad was actually managing the girls' team for the last couple of years, and they managed to win one or two junior championships. So it was
Really?
nice to have them all involved and playing together. Yeah, it was cool.
Because to go back to the lads playing, like, did you see that what's it called? Was it the greatest trade or the biggest trade? Do you remember it was?
Oh, the toughest trade, is it?
Yeah. Well, one of the lads went playing rugby with Claremont.
Yes, yeah. Michael Murphy.
Yeah. And even your man watching him was going, I've had 6 months with him. He has all the attributes that's needed.
Of course,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, but they showed like Shane Williams going to play with somebody up in Donegal. Was it Glinties? Well, Glinties.
It could have been one of It's probably Murphy's club. Yeah.
But this was like it was Murphy's club.
Yeah.
But this is a club side, and these boys are in at the gym at 6 o'clock in the morning before they go to regular work.
Yeah.
Are they testing? Because you were saying to me that they do test at your level. Do they test at
club level? No.
So lads can be juicy.
No, not sure. Absolutely, yeah.
These monsters.
Well, but there's nothing. But then they probably get called into the county team, and then they're under pressure. Like,
why is that?
Oh, sorry, I can't
Sean
go.
O'Brien, like walking around.
I can't go for another 6 weeks until it's out of my system. But I think that's just it's just a county level at the moment. So just matter whether it's after a National League game or after a Championship game or throughout the year, they can pop into your training session. So it's just.
Have you been tested?
Just yeah.
Have you?
Yeah. I was after the All-Ireland final against Mayo in 2017.
Immediately afterwards, where you're completely dehydrated.
So it was mad. So that was the time we kicked the point over the bar to win us the match by a point. So you're gone.
Sorry, I'll just
pick
up that memory off the ground.
You're gone from a high, and then you go in, and literally you're there for. I made the mistake of thinking I was good to go.
Yeah,
and didn't get the required amount of milliliters.
Of course you weren't, because you were dehydrated. You've just played him.
So then I had to wait for another about hour and a half. So when you got back to the hotel, say fucking 9:15.
What?
8:30, and then sure they're going to do the Sunday game thing.
So all the boys were already ripped at that stage. Yeah,
well on. But I was able to drink in the bar while I was waiting to do my test, which was just.
So did it? Okay.
So I was there sipping away in Guinness after the first fail. I was like, look, I'm not going to be able to go outside here for a long time, so we may as well
put on the good gear and go out to the bar. So this person had to stand beside you.
Yeah.
And how?
The Irish Sports Council or whatever, the representative from that.
Well, and what nationality was this person?
Oh, he's a dub.
What?
Yeah.
Was he like, here, Dean, I'm really sorry about this, like.
Yeah, of course he is.
Okay.
No, they're very
what sort of a Nazi would be happy to go into you after winning that?
They're very, and it's three people get picked out, like, so it's not
Hello,
just.
Mr. Rock.
But it's worse if you lose.
Oh man.
Do you know, and you're sitting in a room. You're sitting in a room like this, and the other person's across the way from you, or it's different guys from different counties there, so it's awkward enough, like, do you know.
Who else was on that?
Very silent, like.
Yeah, I can imagine. Like, and you're kind of buzzing inside, going, "We just won."
What can you say? Like, you know, but that's just the GA, I suppose. For you,
yeah, that's a real sheesh moment, isn't it? Actually,
shit. Pipe down, like, relax. So, it's just, how are you keeping anyway?
Yeah.
Oh, good, yeah.
Wow, yeah.
What's the plan for the week now? Like, yeah.
So he had to go out and watch you, though, at the bar, though, doesn't he?
Yeah, he would, just sitting beside me, just fucking. I just have to basically be in his
presence,
eye line or eyesight.
And he does, because when at the level of the fighters level, they actually physically have to stand into the cubicle with them and everything and physically watch the whole process. Like, it's not that, is it? Is it?
Yeah.
He's got to watch
It's
you.
the same thing, like.
Who's taking that job?
He needs to make sure that no one else has come into the cubicle while they've been in the room.
And put in a
their
different
sample. Yeah.
Oh, man.
He needs to make sure that you're not taking a sample out of your pocket and putting it into the...
I mean, you know,
That's
they say never meet your heroes, Dean, but his first time meeting you and he's got to watch you taking a slash.
It's unbelievable, isn't it?
Wow.
It's mad.
That was an intimacy level that I don't think he ever...
It's gone to... I think you can do blood testing now.
Oh, can you?
Just take a blood sample now. So I think it's...
Just take a prick of your finger.
To try and, speed up the process of the whole thing. I think that's the idea.
Because it does sound a bit archaic, like, you know what I mean? Because I remember I read an interview with Ron Lagares. You talk about the loss. They had lost. And your man, they'd lost the final, like.
Yeah.
You know, and he's your man standing there going, man. And he was like French or something. Of course, couldn't give a toss.
Yeah.
You know, and he's...
Oh, yeah. No,
I know Gara would be fairly an emotional person.
Oh,
like,
Jesus, yeah.
to cry,
say the least.
you bastard.
Yeah, imagine that. So yeah, no, it's a bit of a weird one now, but yeah, it's across the board now amongst county players now.
You have one of the best names ever for branding, don't you? Like, I've had like I was saying that Bernard Jack went on last week, and that's a pretty cool name given its hue and all the rest of it. Like, but like Rock, you could put that on whatever you're thinking of selling. Like, you'd Rock pizzas. I'm gonna ruin the Galway match, aren't I?
That's all I'm gonna be thinking.
Why Dean Rock is after fluffing 3 kicks in a row? What's he even got in his mind right now? Rock pizzas. That Tom fella is not.
You'll know the answer. Rock. Yeah. No, I'm blessed with a good surname. Anyway.
It's great, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like Barney is. That's a great name, Barney Rock. I mean,
Barney,
you know what I mean. There's...
He's known in Sweden. They know him in Sweden. I'd be very surprised if the Swedish people don't know
Barney's
Barney
very
Rock.
big in Sweden. I know that for a fact. I mentioned this to the podcast listeners last week, and they're like, "Is that Barney's son? Is it?"
He's a big deal over in Sweden. Yeah, Stockholm. Yeah.
So what are we going to see? What's next for what product are we going to see? You can't waste a class name like Rock. It's got to be on something. I don't care if you make buckets, Rock buckets, quality.
Anything will work, really, won't it?
Wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Like
I'll have to think about it. I'll have to get Ian Madigan's business guru guy to come over and let me know what he can do with it.
And has anybody, like, because this is the thing, I know a guy who has a company called Red Rock. They make trailers and stuff like that. I'm just saying, now he isn't Monaghan, he probably despises you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You've probably broken his heart a few times, like.
That's the thing. I have to get associated with Dubs. Like, I don't think.
Do you know? Yeah. So, like, yeah. Have you ever considered that? How many people you've upset? I mean, you talk about, like, no doubt you're walking around going, "I made a lot of people happy in this county," but the rest of the country, you've upset a lot of people. Like, have you thought about that, Dean? Just before you're kicking, have you ever thought about that? The amount of people you've put out. No,
never.
You hit Galway
That's
this
a bit
weekend.
that's a bit of rootlessness, I suppose, in you. You need to have that. Yeah, no, for sure, you're making a lot of people happy,
and that's all that matters. Just stay living in Dublin, you'll be all right.
Yeah, not moving anywhere else.
Not moving anywhere, Brad, in your palace full of 8 All-Ireland medals in your
They'd be
house.
selling me a house for fucking $100,000 dearer out the country if I had to.
Yeah, of course they would. Yeah, as soon as they see
rightly so.
Rightly so.
In fairness, yeah.
But you know, as you wear those 5 medals around your chest continuously, I'm glad you wore them in today. Actually, thanks very much.
On my toes.
On my toes.
Oh, you're a bad man.
Ah, Jesus. Do you know what? That's you know, this is a fun, relaxed, enjoyable podcast, Dean. So you're playing. What time is the game on at the weekend?
We're playing Galway at 7. And then the following week, then we're down in Tralee to play Kerry. That's a big game. Then
that's the one I've even put on the calendar. I'm going to sit and watch that one myself.
The following Saturday. That's going to be a big game. And then obviously, we've a couple of weeks off then after that and then back to play Mayo then straight after that. So it's going to be a busy schedule ahead. So, but yeah, hopefully we start now again against Galway on Saturday. Hopefully get a good win and rock down to Tralee then and give it a good go.
You're even throwing your own branding in there as well. Like with rocking down to Tralee. Jesus Christ, you're just shameless, really, aren't you? Just make sure and get off the bus last.
That was unintentional.
Just, but yeah.
Yeah, no, I'll be sure to get on the bus last. That's definitely.
And remember, don't even consider what you might be eating for dinner if you do get any kicks to have to take. You know what I mean? So, just saying, if it comes up, rock pizzas. That's all I'm saying is rock pizzas.
Pizza. Jesus.
I'm going to text you because I'm going to most likely be in the pub on Saturday. So I'm going to text you.
1 second. Oh, Jesus Christ. just before I leave the hotel.
Well, you see, of course,
or
the Ireland-England match will have just ended.
Oh, will actually.
Yeah, so I'm going to text you just...
A nice little beep as Jim is speaking in the dressing room. I'll just know that's
me.
Pizzas.
Yeah. Well, it's either... I'll have come up with a few ideas for it that I think branding will work well for you. You know?
After speaking to Ian Madigan's business guru.
There you go. Dean Rock, thank you very, very much for coming back.
Cheers, Sam. Thank you.
Cheers, lad.
My thanks again to the mighty man that is Dean Rock. Hit subscribe if this is your first time listening. This podcast is out twice weekly. Also, give us a rating on whatever podcast app you're listening to, and if it allows it to rate, give it a high rating. Go for it. It allows more people to see it. Have a look into the old Patreon thing, guys. If you're thinking about it, you can give a one-time donation, or sign up for the monthly thing. You'll get extra bits free anyway, but it helps the podcast essentially. Also, there's a Tea Republic shop. Give that a gander. If you like some of the designs, go ahead and get it on a cup. Put my face on a cup, people. The gigs for next week, I'll just reiterate. So I'm in the Roisin Dove on the 5th, and the 7th and 8th I'll be in the Laughter Lounge, of course, of all places. Jesus Christ, how did I not remember that? So do you know what? Enjoy the rest of your weekend, people. Let's hope Ireland beat the living piss out of England. Sorry for all my English listeners, but you know what? We gotta back our own. It's going to be a good, fun Saturday. All right, I'll chat to you again on Tuesday. Good luck.